He started receiving messages from his future self. It started with a message, not a normal one, not from a friend, not from a number he recognized, just a notification, unknown sender, and a single line. Don't leave your house tomorrow at 8:17 a.m. At first, Ethan laughed. He thought it was spam or some kind of prank. People get weird messages all the time. He ignored it, closed his phone, went to sleep. The next morning, his alarm rang at 7:30 a.m. Same routine, same life, same schedule. Coffee, shower, work. Nothing unusual. But as he got ready to leave, his phone buzzed again. Same number, same sender, another message. I told you not to leave. Ethan frowned. Now it felt strange. He checked the number. No name, no profile, no history. Just those messages. For a moment, he hesitated. Then he shook his head. This is stupid. He grabbed his keys and stepped outside. At exactly 8:17 a.m., something happened. A car, speeding out of control, lost control at the intersection. It crashed directly into the sidewalk, right where Ethan would have been standing if he had left 10 seconds earlier. His heart stopped. He stood frozen, watching the wreckage, the noise, the chaos, the crowd gathering. That's when his phone buzzed again. I tried to warn you. Ethan didn't move, didn't breathe properly, didn't think, because suddenly this wasn't a joke anymore. That night, he didn't sleep. He kept staring at his phone, waiting, thinking, trying to understand. At 2:03 a.m., another message arrived. Check your email. Don't open the third one. Ethan sat up immediately, hands shaking. He opened his laptop, checked his inbox. There were exactly 3 new emails. He hovered over the third one. For a moment, he almost clicked it, but something stopped him. Instead, he deleted it without opening. The next morning, news broke out. A major phishing attack. Thousands of people had opened a malicious email and lost everything. Bank accounts, data, identity. Ethan felt his chest tighten because he knew he would have opened that email without thinking. Again, his phone buzzed. You're starting to listen. Now he couldn't ignore it anymore. Who are you? He typed. For a few seconds, nothing. Then a reply. You. Ethan stared at the screen. That's not funny, he typed back. The reply came instantly. I'm not joking. I'm you from 6 months ahead. He almost threw his phone. This was insane, impossible. But then another message came. Your left wrist still hurts sometimes from that fall when you were 12. Ethan froze. No one knew that. No one. And you still keep your old watch in the second drawer, even though it's broken. His heart started racing, because that was true. This isn't possible, he whispered. Neither is ignoring me, the message replied. Silence filled the room, because now he had 2 choices. believe it or walk away. He chose to listen. Days passed, and the messages continued. Small warnings, small advice. Don't trust that deal. Call your mom today. Leave early. Stay home. Each time, something happened. Something that proved the messages were real. Ethan's life started changing. He avoided problems, made better decisions, stayed safer. It felt like he had control, like he had an advantage, until one day, the message changed. Don't meet Daniel tomorrow. Ethan frowned. Daniel was his friend, close friend, someone he trusted. Why? He typed. No reply. The next day, Daniel called him. Hey man, let's meet up. I have something important to tell you. Ethan hesitated, then remembered the message. I can't today, he said. There was a pause. Why? Daniel asked. I'm busy. Another pause. Longer this time. All right, Daniel said quietly. That night, Ethan got a message. You made the right choice, but something felt wrong. The next day, Daniel didn't answer calls, didn't reply, didn't show up. And then, Ethan found out. Daniel had been in serious trouble. Debt, pressure, mental breakdown. He needed help. And Ethan was the one person he trusted. But Ethan wasn't there because he listened. That night, Ethan sat alone, phone in hand. You said not to meet him, he typed. Reply, yes. He needed me. Silence. Then, I know. Ethan's chest tightened. Then why did you stop me? A long pause, longer than before. Then finally, a reply came. Because I didn't go either. Ethan felt something break inside him. What do you mean? Another message. This is where everything changes. Ethan stared at the screen, heart racing. You've been saving yourself every time, but this time, it's not about you. Silence. Heavy. Uncomfortable. You can't fix your future if you ignore others. Ethan didn't reply because for the first time, he understood something terrifying. All this time, he thought he was becoming smarter, safer, better, but he wasn't. He was becoming selfish, avoiding risk, avoiding responsibility, avoiding people, all in the name of saving himself. And now, someone else paid the price. That night, he didn't wait for another message. He made a decision. The next morning, he went to Daniel's place, knocked. No answer. Knocked again. Silence. Then finally, the door opened. Daniel stood there, tired, broken, but alive. You came, he said softly.
My teacher tried to prove I was lying, and she chose the worst possible moment to do it, because it was the middle of the class presentation and every student was watching, and I had spent 3 weeks preparing a project about renewable energy and how small changes in city planning could dramatically reduce electricity waste. and I was explaining how some neighborhoods in California were already testing community solar grids when my teacher suddenly interrupted me and said that information sounded unrealistic, and she asked where I got the data from. And I explained that it came from an energy research report published by a university study group, and I had included the source in my slides. But instead of checking the citation, she looked at the class and said, "Sometimes students exaggerate information to make projects look more impressive." And the room went quiet. Because when a teacher questions your honesty in front of everyone, it immediately changes how people look at you. And I could feel the attention shifting from curiosity about my project to doubt about my credibility. And in that moment, I had two choices: either become defensive or stay calm and prove the point with evidence. So instead of arguing, I asked if I could open the reference link directly from the slide, and she agreed, probably expecting it to lead nowhere. But when the page opened, it displayed the full research report, including the same statistics I had presented, and the name of the professor who led the study. And suddenly, the class started leaning forward, reading the numbers themselves. And the teacher paused, realizing the information was real and that the assumption had been premature. And instead of continuing the presentation like nothing happened, I explained how misinformation spreads easily when people assume something is false before checking the source. And the class discussion shifted from my project to the importance of verifying information. And by the end of the period, my teacher admitted she should have looked at the reference first. And several classmates asked me for the link to the research because they wanted to read more about the project. And what started as a moment of public doubt turned into one of the most interesting discussions our class had that semester. And the lesson stayed with me long after that day, because credibility is not defended by raising your voice. It is built by presenting facts clearly and allowing truth to speak for itself.